welcome to the Red Booth Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Q. On tonight's episode, I have the cast of Project Blue Book, which is a great show that's on the History Channel. It's getting a lot of buzz, and they finished their first season, and we've just started into season 2. So we're going to be talking to them about the show.
Hi, Kimberly.
Thanks so much for being here, you guys. And everybody, in case you didn't know, this is Neal McDonough, who plays General James Harding, and Aidan Gillen, who plays Dr. J. Allen Hynek in Project Blue Book.
Good evening. I'm General James Harding from the United States Air Force. And we're here tonight live from Roswell, New Mexico. I want to talk to you about a rumor that's been circulating, again, about a mysterious crash that's happened here in the desert. I'm here to tell you, the American people, that it's just a hoax.
Harding silencing Roswell again.
Not if we're here. Tighten up your grip like last time. You blow it, Blue Book goes away.
I've got to get to the bottom of this. To find out what really happened in Roswell 6 years ago.
The CIA has acquired intelligence detailing an imminent threat. You two are the only ones who can stop it.
The name of the game is control the narrative.
If the government is covering up the existence of flying saucers, then you and I are in the best position to expose that truth.
We're about to enter the most highly restricted military test site in America. Welcome to Area 51.
The world needs to know what's really going on here.
You've seen how far the government will go to cover their secrets. They could ruin you.
If we're going to war, let's fire the first shot. They're real. They're real.
So for people who haven't seen Project Blue Book yet, could you guys tell us a bit about the show?
Do you want to do the honors, or should I?
You're the leader.
Take me to your leader, as they say. Project Blue Book, centered around the UFO phenomenon, the emergence of that in the early 1950s in America, and the U.S. Air Force's investigation into it. Each of our stories, each of our episodes is based on, real events, real reported sightings, cases. A lot of our characters are based on real people. I play a character called Dr. Allen Hynek, who was a Midwestern college professor who was brought in as, technical science advisor to Project Blue Book, and ended up going on this, quite fascinating journey for the rest of his life of discovery. And Neal.
I play General James Harding, who's based on General Twining, who is a real-life character, the youngest four-star general in Air Force history. And to play a guy like that, it's been such a joy. The first season was great because, obviously, the backdrop of what's going on with UFOs and extraterrestrials and the sets and the costumes and the wardrobes, everything. It was such a blast. But season 2, we really worked on the characters, and to see the flaws and the conflict within the characters. That's what I gravitate towards as an actor, and I think really what Sean and David did, the writers of the show, they nailed it this year by bringing these characters really to life and breathing in these conflicts.
And the backdrop of the season 1 and season 2, really, it's the early 1950s, so there's a lot of post-war paranoia anyway, and also, post-war optimism. There's a lot of different color in the background, and it's also fun and exciting. You know what I mean? This is we're making what we think of as an entertaining, TV drama as well, which we want to infuse with, wonder and excitement. So, you know, we're trying to have fun here too.
Well, I've actually seen almost all of season 1, and I think it's a beautifully done show, and it's especially the period piece aspect of it is wonderful. I love it. I love the sets. I love the way that it's done. And also, I know that during that period, people really were having these encounters, and there was a lot of stuff. It was very much a part of the culture, this, you know, UFO phenomena that was going on. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think personally? Do you believe that we are having these encounters, that these are real? And how much of it is based on actual eyewitness reports?
Well, it's all based on eyewitness
Facts,
reports.
yeah,
They're all
exactly,
very convincing. Whether people saw
Thousands of cases.
You know, some of these things were, you know, proven to be, you know, have earthly explanations. Some were hoaxes. A lot of them were never explained. They're very convincing. So, you know, all of our stuff is based on quite, you know, reliable source material. You know, whether people, you know, what they saw, who knows?
Look, here's what I love about Project Blue Book, not just because I'm part of the show, but taking myself away from it, it gives us an opportunity to discuss, is there something else out there? And I think that's fantastic. You know, to say, where does the universe begin? When did time start? Who created all of this? And to be able to have the opportunity to talk about it, especially with me, my kids and my wife will sit around the TV and actually watch the show and say, all right, kids, what did you think? How many shows can you do that nowadays? It's either comic book shows, which I love doing also, or really dark adult shows. Not many shows can you sit around with the whole family and watch. This is one of those shows where everyone can sit around and watch it together. And what history has done, they've made this beautifully well-shot, well-constructed show. And this year in particular, to have the flaws of the characters, plus all the UFOs and everything else, I'm so excited for what's going to happen in this season for the audience.
Yeah, always good to come back for season 2. You know, knowing how the actors interact with each other, how they, you know, how they're playing their characters. You know, the writers first time around, you know, wrote these roles not knowing really which actors were going to be playing them. So,
or if it was even going to be a success.
Yeah, so second time around, you've got, you know, you're in a pretty good position to, you know, amp certain things up and to, you know, to improve it. Because that's what you always strive to do. You always want stuff to be better.
And it's because of you guys. It's because of the audience. You know, they've gravitated to the show. The ratings were fantastic for history last year, and because of the audience, it validated the project for everyone. So they have the confidence now to write not just about the UFOs, because that's what they thought the audience really wanted, and they did, but because so many people wrote in about the characters and to develop the characters more. So thanks to the audience for doing that. That's what's made this show, the second season, I think, going to be such a massive hit.
Yes, definitely. And actually, both of your characters are two of my most favorite characters in the show. And I was wondering, because in season 1, they're very much like at odds with each other. And is that going to continue on in season 2, or are they going to start working together?
No, working together. Well, it's interesting. We're my job is to make sure the people don't know what's going on. So, and I will hide whatever I have to do at any cost possible. And I have carte blanche to do that as the head of the government overseeing all of this stuff. But something happens in episode, I'm not sure if it's episode 2 or 3, I think it's 2, where there's this brilliant, really well-crafted moment between the two of us, which I won't get into now, which was my favorite moment I've had, not just in this show, but in shows for years. It was such a genuine, fantastic moment of I can't really say what it was or what it is, but for me it was my favorite bit of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always in our, you know, in our interest, or, you know, as storytellers or, you know, the showrunners, to have these characters at odds with each other. But, you know, you can't just have that.
That's right.
You know, all the way through. That's boring. You know, you've got to introduce new dynamics, and they just, you know, even if they're just little things, which I think what you're talking about, it's, you know, it's there's subtle little sparky moments that happen when actors know each other a little better, you know, and are just a little bit less guarded around each other.
More comfortable.
And there was quite a lot of that, I'd say, with myself and Michael, you know, Malarkey, who plays Quinn, you know, because we spend a lot of our character time together, and it's nice to be able to just, you know, let things happen without thinking about them too much.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think it's amazing that you are an actual astrophysicist and you're bringing science to this whole thing, but then you start to go through your own experiences and your own encounters, and you start to believe what's happening. And then obviously there's this conflict going on between you both, where he's trying to make sure people don't find out about it. So it's really a great story in season 1, and, you know, leading into season 2, we have these pilots that have had all these experiences as well. I just think it's fantastic that History Channel is going into all of this. But I also wanted to ask, before we have to wrap it up here, one last question. Both of you are such amazing actors. I really do admire you, and I wanted to ask what advice you have for inspiring actors out there.
Believe in yourself, because not many other people will do that for you. You know, it's, you know, look, everyone has God-given talents. God gave me this talent to be an actor and to be a very good actor, and obviously with Aidan too. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're great human beings. That's what you have to work on. And I think that if we all figure out what our God-given talents are, but you know, that's a blessing right there. But to be great human beings is the test of all. And so to become an actor, you really have to have comfort within yourself and confidence within yourself, knowing that you have the talent, but also to be a good person and not just make it about yourself. Which again is a great thing about this show, because it makes us think, if there is something else out there, what else is possibly out there? And by doing so, it makes you appreciate what you have in your life even that much more. And that's what I love about Project Blue Book.
Well, thank you so much. That is wonderful advice. And I just have to say it's such a pleasure to get to speak to you both. Don't miss Neal McDonough playing General James Harding and Aidan Gillen playing Dr. J. Allen Hynek. Thanks for watching The Red Booth Show.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.